So today I wanted to talk about the importance of sound design, why you should be adding it into your videos, and why you should be worrying more about sound design than what gear you're actually using. So by adding sound design in your videos, it's going to immerse the viewer a lot more. It's going to bring them into that environment to what it actually was like. And it's just going to give them a lot better experience watching your video and giving them more of a reason to stay watching the entire length of your video. So generally speaking, sound is about 50% of your video. Some people might argue it's more, but generally speaking, it's about 50%. So some people rather watch a lower quality image than watch something that has crappy sound to it. If you're having things being peaked, people talking and the sound is peaking, or you can't even hear their voice, people aren't going to want to sit through that. So you should be focusing a lot more on what audio equipment you're using and also focusing on the sound design that you're putting in there. As you're watching a video, you might not realize it, but there could be sound design added into it. It's just because you're watching it and you see what the environment is and you're trying to familiarize yourself with that. So you're not even realizing what sounds are added to the video, you're just expecting them to be in it. You will notice it if no sound design is added to it. So that is one thing that a lot of people like to overlook though, just because they don't think about it. So let me play this video to help demonstrate the importance of sound design. And so now let me play that same exact video for you, but with no sound design added. So you could see how much less engaging that video without sound design is. Sound design is just something that a lot of people overlook, and a lot of times that's the one thing that's missing in people's productions. And for most of the time, you can just get the sound design put into there with little to no cost. You could just download stuff off of YouTube or there's a lot of different stuff like MusicBed or Epidemic Sound that has a lot of different sound designs that you could add in there. Most of the time you could just download them and not even have to pay anything. So when you're actually adding the sounds into there and all the different sound effects, what you're going to be wanting to do is just remember back to what the environment sounded like, or what you could be doing is watching what's happening in the scene and just adding the proper sound design to go along with all the different events that are happening within that scene. So one thing though I would say to be careful of though is don't overdo the sounds. A lot of time the sounds can be overpowering and you don't want them to be the main track. You want it to be a very ambient noise. You don't want it to be overpowering if you have someone speaking or just the main track in general. These are supposed to be ambient noises to add to the environment just to help the viewer be a little bit more immersed in the video. So when it comes to finding out what levels that each of those sounds should be, just think about how close or how far away something's happening relative to the camera. You don't want something that is super far in the distance to be super loud, or if there's like a bird flying overhead, you don't want that sound to be overpowering the main track. It's going to be in the distance, so it's going to be little to like hardly being able to hear the noise. Typically, I like to keep my tracks down to like -24 dB and keeping that main track around that -6. Alright, so I'll play that same exact video for you, but I'll be able to show you my screen so you can see where each sound is coming in and out, and I'll play it without the audio on there, just so then you could fully hear what each sound is and how loud or quiet each one is. So as you can see, a lot of those tracks are pretty low. You don't even notice them sometimes unless you actually have headphones on, but just know by adding those sounds, it's going to help increase your video production and make your videos a lot more engaging. But that is all for me today. Thank you for watching. If you got something out of this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next.